We are back once again on the Sega Master System to play a game that we've played before, but we're going to see a little bit of a different version of it here. This is Double Dragon, in case you couldn't tell from the video title and the fact that I told you it would be Double Dragon at the end of last episode. You know, it's no surprise. Anyway, this is, yes, like I said, a different version than the NES version, which I have heard it's a little more faithful to the arcade version, which I have not played, so none of that will really matter to me. Now, immediately, of course, you know that you're dealing with a worse sound card. Okay, we have notably fewer hits as well. By notably fewer hits, I mean, it's very easy for us to die. Let's see if I can take anything on here. However, do we start with a full arsenal? Do we not have to do the weird level up thing? Hold on. I'm dying rapidly, so I can't tell one with the other. Hold on. I'm trying to figure the game out. Hold on. I might be better off not even continuing this attempt because I've already lost 2 lives. Good grief. Okay, well, I made it through somehow. I think, unlike the NES version, you just start off with all of your moves. Which means you don't gotta do all the XP farming. Okay, we've died and we've game overed, but that's fine. That's fine. Push start, or in this case, just press a button. Now, I have heard that despite being a little more difficult overall, the Master System version is probably actually easier to beat because you get unlimited continues. And if that was a continue that I just did there, where I just respawned right where I was, well, that seems pretty good. Anyway, the sprites are definitely bigger, brighter, chunkier. This is another game that supports the fabled FM sound chip, which commenters have mentioned before in the comments in these videos. Not that I get a lot of comments, but people have brought up the FM sound chip before. People, by that I mean person. It's basically just a little chunk of hardware that is supposed to increase the sound quality. I've heard examples of it, like on YouTube, and quite frankly, it's not that good. Like, it doesn't... Sorry, I'm playing horribly. It doesn't improve the game enough to... Or the sound, rather. It doesn't improve the sound enough to really justify existing that much. At least I don't think so. I listened to, I think, the Space Harrier soundtrack on both the FM sound chip and just on the original, like, side-by-side comparison. It still sounded pretty dorky. Okay, so this is clearly different from the NES version here, which again, we knew would happen because the Master System's layout is closer to the arcade. I don't know how to, like, fight in this version, though. There you go. That's a good start, though. Backward spin kick, very good. It wasn't good because it was ineffective against the Abobo. I believe that's what these enemies are called, at least. There you go. Just do the classic jump kick strats. You'll be untouchable. Hey! I actually got him. I'm surprised by that. Bonus point, 3,000. A single point. Mission 2. Here we go. So yes, that level definitely ended differently than the NES version. Kind of a shame. I liked how the NES version ended with the conveyor belt fight. Okay, this one guy down. I'm fighting a little bit better than I was at the start of the last level here. I'm not quite eating it as badly. Why is this guy just running away from me? Like, come on. Yeah, get punched. No, he got away. Is that the same guy, or did a different enemy just spawn with the baseball bat? Yeah, I recognize the tune, but it doesn't jam as much. Okay. Heck of a wind-up on that bat there. Makes it kind of useless, honestly. Yeah. I couldn't get a single swing in with the bat. Yeah. Okay, so I think we can literally just continue whenever we want. Now, I did read, because I read the Wikipedia article real quick before I did this, just to highlight any differences. Can't say I don't do any research, but I did read that the final stage of the game takes away your unlimited continues, unless you do like 10 backward spin kicks. The downside is I don't know when the final stage is, so I don't know if I'll be able to utilize that knowledge. Because I doubt it just tells you final stage, right? Anyway. We're a jump kicking man, jump kicking the day away. Because it's all we know how to do. It's the only way our papa taught us how to fight. He was a charlatan who didn't really know how to fight, so I don't know what good it's going to do us. Yeah, there we go. Get me up on the girders. Where's my taunt button? Impressive. Come on. There we go. We annihilated him. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this version so far. I was so like pretty sure I was like, oh, it's gonna be better. The Master System, it just looks better. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm used to the NES version, but this all feels a little bit foreign. You know, like not having the goofy experience points grind to get your moves. I mean, that's probably just a good thing, right? Ooh. But the actual combat in the NES version felt more deliberate too. By deliberate, I mean like your punches felt like they landed a little bit better. Here, I feel just a little bit loose. Oh no, we died. Shoot, that sucks. It's almost like we can just come right back. Dude, this dude looks too cool for school. Look at that. He's got the backwards hat. He's got the Bret Hart glasses on. Come on. I was clearly not doing the back elbow like I thought I was. Anyway, we continue again. It completely ruins our score, but who cares? Scores, they're for losers. I do just wish I knew how to do the back elbow, because that move does quite a bit of damage. Damage is what we're here for, you know? Okay, the box! The box kills all. We get our bonus points thanks to that glorious box kill. We're gonna lose the bonus points anyway. We just jumped in the air and hit the knife immediately. Come on, man. Yep, we saw it coming. Yeah, it feels a little bit, just a bit more, you know, haphazard than the NES version. Chunkier sprites, notwithstanding. I forgot to tell you who developed and published it. It was actually not Sega who developed it this time around. It was Arc System Works, a company you may know nowadays for games such as Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Blaze Blue, and Guilty Gear. A very flashy developer by modern standards, but, you know, clearly they had humble beginnings. Getting contracted out to do the Double Dragon port for Sega. But yes, Sega did publish it, so don't get me wrong there. That's still very much on the table. However, in this release cycle, we're in November right now, but I'll be lumping this in with December 1988. We do see our first game not published by Sega for the Master System. A true rarity. It did happen every now and then. And I will tell you what that is when we get to it. Can you guess which one based on the games list below? Because you do get to see into the future a tiny bit with me here. I'll give you a hint. It is not Phantasy Star. Ooh, big hint. Thanks. Really needed that one. It's like saying Mario was not published by a third party. Come on, man. Come on, where's the part where the music just gets absolutely cracked out? Like in the NES version. Hey, I finally hit with the bat. The bat is definitely the worst weapon, at least in this version. Kick puncher. That's what this is. Yeah, I don't think we get the cracked out part of this theme. You remember it from the NES version when it's all like... Perfect. Come on. Bash their kneecaps in. Nope. It takes forever to wind up with the bat, and then once you do actually swing it, it's just too short to do anything with. Perfect. Done. Oh no. What are you doing here, man? You can't just casually spawn one of the big boys. It's not even Big Boy o'clock. This isn't even a mini boss. He's just here, chilling. Yeah, you know what? We die, who cares? I don't care. I was built to die. Or, I guess it's born to die is more what the phrase is. The figure of speech, rather. The whip seems to be real effective, though. Like, for everything that the baseball bat lacks, the whip makes up for. I mean, the whip probably does less overall damage than the baseball bat, if I had to guess. But you got the immediate... It might not actually hurt that enemy type, now that I look at it, because it's kind of kept going right through him. Oh, no. Anyway... Come on, man. I really do just feel like I'm mashing right now. Which, in its own way, definitely feels like a downgrade from NES Double Dragon. Because in NES Double Dragon, you definitely have to be very careful about what you're doing to get through any areas. You can't just wildly mash buttons, or you will be basically done. Okay, the whip does hurt this enemy type. It's just takes a few shots. Wow, big man. You kicked the whip out of my hand. I bet you feel real proud of yourself. Almost as proud of yourself as I feel about myself. Oh, dude, did you see? He just like threw me right over his back. The backdrop from a Bobo. Yeah, we probably can't do the, yeah, I don't know how to do the backwards flying elbows. It's like the most OP move of the original Double Dragon, if you can figure them out right, which I never really could. Anyway, it's a rock. Ah, nice! Throw it clear over his head. That's what I was looking to do here, see? They're still standing, even after having like a straight-up full-blown rock chucked at their heads. No one can claim that these are not sturdy enemies. Come on, man. Just die. Or at least be knocked out. Maybe death is a little too extreme, but, you know. Can we get in a regular fist fight? Nope, we'll lose. Yeah, you really do just have to spam the jump kick, don't you? It's your only real option. Yeah, I gotta say, this is a disappointing version of Double Dragon. It just does... It's not clicking with me. On the other hand, I can feel calm knowing that I have the superior version on original NES cartridge. I don't have to play the whole game of what could have been, saying, oh, if only I had the Master System version. No, I feel like I got the good end of the deal with the NES version. I still haven't beaten it. Try as I may, repeatedly. Yo, we're just gonna chuck rocks at him. Oh no, there's two of them. Anyway, rock time. I said rock time? No, not rock time. Nope, you got me. That's fine. We continue, because we can. We're getting some real sprite flicker. Maybe it is the NES version. Not even the Master System is immune to sprite flicker. Although this is uncharacteristic. Hey, we got them both. Didn't even die. Ignore the death. Dude, this dude's too cool for school. I mean, he's the same character model as the same enemies we've been fighting, but they gave him a weird neon sheen, so he looks like he just came out of a vat of radiation. Is this the Toxic Avenger game? Because I don't... that wasn't what it was labeled as. Why am I trying to fight normally? It clearly doesn't work. You gotta just hop around. And now we just run away from him. I like how there is no normal jump, just a jump kick. If you want to jump somewhere, you gotta kick while you do it. That's what they teach you in all the finest street fighting schools. Those are things now. Hey kid, wanna win a street fight? $50, I'll teach you everything I know. It's actually just a course on how to successfully keep pocket sand at bay, on hand. That's more what I was looking for. You gotta forgive me for my words not always coming out right, you know? I'm just trying to keep the words flowing for you. For maximum entertainment value. We'll get him. We'll get him again. Uh-oh. The Abobo is green now. Everybody's gangster until the Abobo turns green. Well, he sure choked me out. I feel like I should just, like, start doing the 10 reverse jump kicks at the start of every stage so I don't screw it up and get my... I'm dying here! So I don't screw it up and lose all my unlimited continues at the end of the game and then be like, dang it, I could have done that. Or you could just say, or you can just look up which one is the final stage. It's like, yeah, but that's unsporting. I'm going off only information that is in the manual or the other thing that totally existed when this game came out, Wikipedia. Yeah, that's a nice victory stance right there. Lift that rock over your head. Mission 4. I'm just gonna do it anyway. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're just gonna do it at the start of every stage. Because let's be real, it doesn't take up that much time, and this is for safety. You know, we just want to be safe. Dude, look at these. This was definitely not in the NES version. Way to miss me with your knife, idiot. But yeah, this stage. Look at that, we got the bowls poking at you. The wall is like coming undone. This regular ass enemy can almost beat me in a fight. I'm real nervous to tell him to 1v1 me because I know I'm gonna lose at this point. Okay, that just kills you. But now we know. You can't just jump over that. Did he get stabbed by the statue? Yeah, he did! What an idiot! I kind of thought that happened with the last enemy too, but I wasn't totally sure, you know? I didn't want to spread any misinformation here. Oh man, what do we got here? More palette swapped boys. They do be red. Dude, this reminds me of Renegade. Who remembers that episode when I got super totally lost in the maze and kept having to fight the biggest, baddest enemies over and over and over and over and over, and I never got anywhere? Good stuff. I'm not lost this time though, you know, I'm just fighting big bad enemies and dying. This is the blind speed run. Never played this game before, but we're just gonna speed run the heck out of it, you know. Dude, another one. You can't just keep spawning them. That's against the rules. Ooh, and a miscellaneous enemy. Yeah, definitely noticed that this version also doesn't really have any verticality. I haven't seen a single ladder in this version. Missed that from the NES version. Ladders make every game better. I mean, just look at Charlie's Angels and Metal Gear Solid 3. Essential ladders. Actually, the ladders in Battlefield 3 take ages to climb up to. But it's even better there because, you know, you're in the middle of a big multiplayer match and there's havoc everywhere and you're just like climbing this ladder one rung at a time. Oh, he left. Oh no, he came back. He came back with a knife. We got another Abobo as well. I believe that's what they're called. You know, again, I'm just going off Wikipedia, which doesn't have a lot of information on Double Dragon. That's the thing with Wikipedia. It's a fantastic source of knowledge. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff documented there. But if you want to get like super specific into any one topic, it just scratches the surface for everything. It's like when you ask your dad a question and he answers it at the most basic level, and then you ask why, and then he's out of answers. He doesn't know what to tell you anymore. Wikipedia is like, walk in, give a basic amount of knowledge, refuse to elaborate, leave. And I'm not even ragging on it, you know, again, I think it's an excellent website. The fact that it's a free resource that anybody can access, pretty incredible, honestly. Come on, man. If nothing else, I'm glad that this version is so different because it really justifies playing it again. Although, in general, multi-platform games from this era tended to be pretty different from each other. I mean, heck, you look at Aladdin for the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, you can't even call one a port of the other because they're just both completely different games. It's not even like a, hey, which game set the blueprint for the other one? Neither, dog. They were just different. Rats. More death. More death that means nothing. This is a lot of cool dudes, though. I'm feeling pretty intimidated by how much drip these guys have got going on. Uh-oh. Did that dude have a gun? That looked like a dude with a gun to me. This game does have co-op as well, I should notice. You can tell by the big old flashy press start up in the corner. If you have a second Master System controller and want to play Double Dragon with your best buddy, you can. Are they just going to spawn indefinitely? Do I have to, like... Ah, okay, yeah, I have to... He does. He has a gun! He straight up has a gun! Okay, well, that explains why... why the music stopped and the other boys just kept spawning. We gotta bring a fist to a gunfight. Dude, he just, like, downs you right there. Doesn't he? He's a man of power. Dude. I'm getting so badly beat up. Which is the point of Double Dragon, you know. Is for the player to get beat up. Screw this, I'm going back to Pit Fighter. Hey, he's dead. Which means now his goons will probably die permanently, right? Dude, look at that flurry of blows. Bonus point, 12,000. Wonderful. Is that it? Is that the entire game? We got the kiss. I think that's it. I think I think I just beat the whole game. May you live happily forever. What the heck am I gonna do for the next 35 minutes? Yeah, that's it. Huh. Well, it's certainly easier than the NES version, but only because you get unlimited continues, and I knew to do all the jump kicks in that stage. I had a feeling. Okay. It just kicks you right back to the beginning. I guess this means we play it again. There's nothing else to do. Alright, well. If I had a friend and a second controller, I would show you the co-op, but I have neither. Lol. You might say, hey, now that you're doing a second playthrough, because you have no more time, you could try fighting normally. I'm like, that's for chumps, though. See, look at this. You try to fight normally, you just get made a fool of. You just have to jump kick everywhere. I almost said kick jump. That's the totally wrong order. I mean, we've beaten games on this series before, but this is, never that quickly, I don't think. But now that I've experienced the whole thing, I can safely say, yeah, the NES version is the better version. I didn't think that that would be the case. I came in here fully expecting this to just, like, be this hidden, perfect version of Double Dragon. But I don't know. I mean, again, I think this is more in line with what the arcade version was. But I'm gonna think that maybe I just like the NES version more. The level design is certainly completely different. The layouts are totally different. Some vaguely similar themes in the levels, you could say. You know, we still got the forest level. But even then, like that last level, we get like some weird death fortress instead of the horrific caves that you get in the NES version. Which is a win in my book, because the caves in Double Dragon NES are horrifying. Alright. Come at me. He'll get here eventually. I got him! Got him too. Ah, he kicked me. Oh, elbowed him in the face. Yeah. That's what we call a cinematic fight. Double Dragon, it was basically the God Hand of its time. If you've never heard of God Hand, just wait till we get to 60 Seconds to Lose on the PlayStation 2 in 27 years. That is approximately how long it would take to get there, too. Maybe slightly less than that. Either way, I'll be in my 50s. It'll be a good time. Then I'll truly be the boomer gamer. Yeah, because remember, boomer no longer means, you know, born in the baby boomer generation. It literally just means old person. Don't get it twisted. Someday I will deserve to be called it. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I have a feeling that I'm going to be sticking around with this mortal coil well past my expiration date. It just runs in the family, man. We don't die. Well, you know, we're not immortal. If you kind of get yourself a... Nope. I'm trying to find any way to make the baseball bat helpful, but it's just, Got way too much wind-up. Come on, man. Yeah. It doesn't work very well. We haven't used a continue yet, so that's good. That shows we've been improving. If that's what you want to call it. But see now, I could have easily naturally done this a second time through if I didn't do those jump kicks at the start of the last level. And then I could have been sent back to the start of the game. I would have gone, oh no, oops, that was the last stage. Now I gotta play the whole game over again. Oopsie. Dude, check this out. It didn't do anything. It didn't hit a single enemy. That's what I would really want you to see. Check out my dynamite acumen. The trick is I don't have any. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah! It's the first time I've pulled off that move. I don't know what I have to do to make it happen. Like, I legitimately have no clue what I did. You can't kill me. I'm never actually dead. Come on, man. There we go. There we go. We know the box is full of death, so... It's actually full of like 100 kilogram weights for a total of like 600 kilograms in one box. What is that in pounds? I don't know. Because I don't know how much a kilogram is. I'm a dumb American. No, not dumb. Just trained wrong on purpose as a joke. You ever wonder if that's like... If that was actually like the final thing that England did to screw with America? They taught us all the imperial, or the... Is it called the imperial system or the decimal system? I think I've heard it referred to as both, but one of them might be blatantly wrong. Anyway, they taught us that system so that we'd look really dumb in like 300 years. Didn't even take that long, you know? Immediately, the whole rest of the world was like, what the heck's a pound? They're like, pounds? Miles? Man, it's 17, like, 53. Come on and... If I can list it, like in the Red Coat Army. That was sloppy delivery on a joke there, by the way. I was kind of making up the punchline as I went, but... We call that practice. It's what you need. You wait, when we get PewDiePie viewing numbers, you're gonna feel real sorry. Literally zero chance of that happening. But we don't need that to happen. The only thing I need is to get blown up by dynamite. The only thing that I need is the caring views that I do get from the small, the mighty, the wonderful viewer base that I do have. The few of you who stick around for these videos. It's honestly incredible that any of you find this great. And that's not even like playing down myself. It's more so, you know, saying, hey, there's how many different people to watch on this platform, and you spend an hour of your day with me. It's humbling, and by humbling I mean it inflates my ego like nothing else. It's kind of the opposite of humbling, isn't it? Like, why do people say, oh, I'm humbled, and then they're like, because I'm being praised by everybody else. I don't know. I'm putting too much thought into it. We did get a new high score on one of those previous continues. I think our initial one of this run, 18,000. We didn't get that at the end of our last run, which was our high score, so we did something better. Anywho. Yeah, Double Dragon. It's not the best version. I feel betrayed, you know? The Master System, it normally comes in clutch with just like the best versions of stuff. And I never knew that it did because nobody even knows the Master System exists. I literally told a friend that I do Master System videos, and he looked at me as if I had just spoken a different language. It's like, eh. The range on the bat, just incredible, you know? Outstanding stuff there. Anyway, you basically just wind up smashing both of your buttons as often as possible and just jumping off in a different direction. It's the only real way to play the game. I have been, you know, doing it with a little bit more finesse. I've been dying at a less ridiculous rate than previously. I guess because I learned that trying to do anything fancy is just kind of a lost cause. You know, and then I die right as I talk about finesse. Dude, look at that. Knocked them both out at the same time. Then we pick up the bat and then it despawns. Wait. Is there somebody else around here? Who the heck are you? I don't even know who you are. But you're sure letting me smack you. Well, you were. How many hits can you take, man? Jeez. Or lady, I suppose. This was before the whole poison debacle. Don't worry, we'll get to that one day too. I'll be sure to send it to a good old friend of mine who is a massive Poison stan. Not Bret Michaels Poison. Dude, it was one day, it was back when I worked at Menards. I was in the paint department, and every rose has its thorn was playing on the overhead, and I, in my full Menards vest and gear and stuff, I very loudly and vocally said, that's not the effect of this song is just absolute trash. And a customer there, I'm not gonna call them a guest, they're at Menards, they're a customer. They were like, I love this song. And I didn't feel a shred of remorse. I would have done it again too. But if there's gonna be any place in the world where you'll run into somebody who expresses their love for every rose has its thorn, yeah, it's probably gonna be Menards. If you're unfamiliar with Menards, it is a predominantly Midwest home improvement chain run by an absolutely terrible family. Now I'm gonna get sued for libel. No, every story I've heard about the Menards family just makes them out to sound like total clowns. But they do sponsor a NASCAR car, so. And by the way, NASCAR cars are not called NASCARs, so get that out of your head. I think NASCAR stands for like something. I was gonna try to pull out the acronym, but then I realized I didn't really know it. Oh no, we've died again. Rats. Anyway, yeah, it's a home improvement chain. Not a particularly good one. I mean, I guess it's fine if you buy stuff from there, but working for them, not that good. Didn't enjoy it. I shouldn't say that like I flat up didn't enjoy it, because I didn't mind working in paint. It was actually kind of fun. Mixing paint for people and whatnot. Especially when someone was like, hey, can you color match this? And then you had to like be a paint wizard and get as close a match as you could, because the computer would always just not quite get there. But it was fun stuff. The actual, you know, corporate policies and whatnot made me want to gouge my eyes out with a spoon. Not to say that that's particularly rare, but I mean, you compare it to places like Home Depot. I don't know if this is still the case, but 10 years ago when I was like looking for my, not my first job, but like my first job after I had moved away from home, people were like, dude, you should try to get into Home Depot. They pay really well. People love working there. They have a super long, like, hiring list. I was like, well, boy, I don't know why they would pick me then if they have a super long hiring list. And I don't know if that's still the case. Maybe they've slipped up a little, but I know even just like 10 years ago, Home Depot did have a bit of a reputation as being kind of great to work for. So any Home Depot people who want to put your company on blast in the comments, feel free to confirm or deny that. That's actually the only reason I make videos, is to coax Home Depot employees into telling me the industry secrets. I'm a Fleet Farm spy. That's another home improvement chain, in case you're unaware. I think... Is that one also predominantly Midwest? I think it is. Not to be confused with Fleet Supply, which is a farming equipment supply shop, you know, like fertilizers and stuff like that. Nothing exciting at Fleet Supply. Nothing exciting at Fleet Farm either, unless you really are into home improvement. If you're like, dude, give me an elbow joint and I'll be a happy sucker, then hey, Fleet Farm's probably your favorite place in the whole wide world. My wife briefly worked for them. She worked in HR for a Fleet Farm store. Didn't like it. I'm not shocked by that. By the way, this dude has gotta just die. He's gonna pose oh, there we go. I was gonna say, he's gonna give me problems with trying to get to the next screen if he doesn't become killed. But now that he's down here, I can just, you know, do whatever I want. So basically, my whole thesis with this rant is that if you work in a home improvement store, it probably sucks unless it's Home Depot. Maybe there are like smaller, like local family-run places that aren't that bad, but I, for some reason, doubt it. People like to like simp for family-run places, but the second that you work for one, you're like, this place is awful. I worked for a family-owned furniture store. It was a chain, not like a national chain or anything like that, but it was still very much family-owned, and boy, you could tell. Anytime you're at risk of seeing the owner casually stroll through at the warehouse, you're like, oh yeah, it's one of these places. And what do you know? It was one of the worst jobs I've ever had. Worked in the warehouse. I was not a fan. A lot of it was my own fault. Like, I probably shouldn't have even had that type of job to begin with. I'm just not built for it. But, you know, that... It's like I say every time I play a tennis game here and I suck at it. It's okay. Except, I don't know. Knowing the other people who worked there and their complaints with the job, I just think it was also maybe just a straight up bad warehouse to work in. Hard for me to confirm, though. Look at that. Bonus point. We have one life left to play with. Almost lost it. Oh, wait, hold on. 4, 5, 6. Now, I did say to do that at the start of the level, so I may have just screwed myself by waiting this long. It doesn't instantly kill you. Back stabbed in the face. Yeah, nope. We got the continues. We're still good. We did lose our score, so, you know, there's no chance we're gonna set a new high score now, but, well, we, weren't quite on the same x-axis as him there. We whiffed the knife just as he would typically whiff the knife. I'm, at this point, you know, I've just kind of given up. I got nothing else to prove. I beat the game. It takes no skill to beat this game. This is one of those games where if you just put in the time and brute force it, you will beat it. Which, if we're talking about video games in general, is most video games. But these older NES video games, there are a lot where you gotta be at the top of your game. Yeah, we finally did it. We blew someone up with the dynamite. My boys, my dudes, how are you both doing? The jumping spin kick appears to do actually nothing. That's not true. It did just knock one of them down, who appeared to not be on the same side of where my foot was. I don't know. I can't quite pinpoint what makes the jumping spin kick really stick. Jumping spin stick. Where are you going? You threw a knife, so now you want to go and get something else to bring to the fight? This ain't the worst track I've ever heard on the Master System. It's not the greatest either, but, you know. But yeah, that's kind of been a running theme with the Master System overall. Great graphics, but the music has just not been there. Maybe that'll change eventually. Come on now, my dude. Alright, now I have to beat the rest of the game just by headbutting. We have unlimited continues. We can do whatever we want. Headbutt. Headbutt like your life depends on it, because it does. Do you get points every time you headbutt them? I think you just get points every time you hurt them. Yeah, you do. Okay, so that's nothing unique to headbutting. Come on. Prove you have the heavier head. Or something like that. I am literally just like poking directly down onto the controller. Because if you try to use your thumb to do this, it's going to wear your thumb out immediately. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just rapidly pounding that D-pad. Oh, you thought you killed me? No such thing as me dying. This is just what I'm doing for entertainment at this point now. I'm just trying to give you some variety. The variety now is exclusively using our head. Not in the, oh, it's a puzzle game kind of using our head. In the literally just beating people over the head with our head. It's not working horribly well, as you can clearly see. We have very limited range when we try to headbutt. We've been fighting this same big man for the past 27 hours. He's okay. Wow, wow. He is indeed flipping. The backdrops are real. Hey, we got him! First try. Alright, now it's the boss stage. Can we beat the boss using only our head? It sounds like just a really terrible thing that won't result in any kind of fun for anybody, which is why I have to do it. Dude, look at how many points we're racking up by using our head, though. Shame we're gonna lose them all by dying. What'd I tell you? Nobody knows me better than I know me. Unless there's some kind of bizarre mystic who lives in the ocean who knows all of my future deeds. And the questions about myself I have been asking all these years. Like, why doesn't watermelon taste right to me? Oh, you want to kill me? That don't impress me much. Okay, you can in fact just fall off the front of the stage. I didn't know that, but I do now. That is in fact something that can happen. If you really wanted to, you could, if you were good enough at the game, you could just like farm points on these guys at the end here and just get an infinitely high score. But that wouldn't be very fun now, would it? I mean, neither is using exclusively your forehead to dispatch of the final screen. But come on. It's not like we have any other content to worry about right now. We have like 10 whole minutes to do this. Do you think we'll manage? Oh, we'll manage all right. Come on. Do I have to defeat one of you now to spawn the boss? Is that how this goes? That's fine. I can headbutt all night long. By all night long, I mean for 9.5 more minutes. We gotta follow protocol here, you know? It's these moments where you ask, what am I doing with my life? The answer is incredible things. You're doing incredible things. Don't you worry. One is dead. There we go. He's coming. He's coming. As in he has arrived. Let me fix that verbiage there. Be a little less questionable. No, this is gonna take a hot minute, so just be prepared for some. Why does he have a gun? Boy, that thing really does. It really does wreck you too, doesn't it? If we kind of like, yeah, we gotta kind of headbutt him from the bottom. Or from slightly above, just so we can get him in our crosshairs. We have to be able to line him up. If we just try to do it head on, no luck. But he eventually crawls down to our level, and then smacks us. It's, you know... It's considerably different from our NES counterpart. The NES version is probably, honestly, about as long or short, maybe slightly longer. It's just, you know, not having unlimited continues. That results in a lot of padded out gameplay. Did I say padded? I meant more content! Yay! Whoopee content! I've only knocked him down like 3 times. It's not the most effective tactic that we have chosen to champion here, but believe me, it'll all pay off when he eventually dies, and then we realize that we could have killed him in any other myriad of ways. He's still falling over though. We're gradually chipping away at him. Use your head, man. Now, what I want to know is, would it even be possible to do this, like do a headbutt only run and not die? Like, how much can you actually avoid taking damage in Double Dragon? It seems like the kind of thing where it's just kind of inevitable, right? Especially with a move as dumb as the headbutt. But I've also learned to not count out human nature and mankind's ability to accomplish anything, like beating Double Dragon on the Master System with only headbutts. A feat even more impressive than the Happy Hob, clearing all of Soulsborne without taking a hit. Or was it just the 3 Souls games? Was Bloodborne part of that? Hey, nice, we fell down again. I can't remember. We've died so many times in this fight. I mean, I expected to. We got him! Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Well, there we go. We beat the game twice. The second time, we beat the final boss with only our head. Hey. That was a slightly different ending. Was that supposed to happen? Did that happen before? Was I just not paying attention the first time around? That was the wrong sprite. Have I located an Easter egg? I don't know. May you live happily forever again. We beat Double Dragon twice today! Yeah! The end. That game was a headache. I'm sitting here and I'm like, how can I kill 5 minutes? Because I really don't want to start it again. Oh. It's okay. We got good stuff coming up on the docket. I'm still just looking at Rampage with love in my heart. Oh. Can't wait for that one. Anyway. We can look at the title screen again. The multiple flashes there. We got the copyright from Technos Japan Corporation. I took my shovel and I'm digging. I'm digging for anything else to talk about with this game. Oh, wait. We can watch the intro again. Yeah. He punches her. He takes her away. Oh, here we go. Yeah. We can watch the co-op demo. That's something we didn't do already. So please observe, rather. This is what the game would look like if you were playing it with your friend. It's wild, isn't it? It's kind of wild that you only get like 5 hits. Oh, that's it for the gameplay demo? Well, I guess, you know, these cartridges, they do have very limited amount of space on them. They can't just play you a 25-minute long demo and beat the whole game. I don't want to start again, but I can't really end the video. Fine. I'll start it again. And I'll just like piddle around half-heartedly. I'm deflated, you know. I beat it twice. That's a triumph. But now it's literally just filler. There are, I think, a couple other games like this. Well, I know for a fact because we've already stumbled upon one, which means they can't be the only one. There are going to be other games in the lineup of this very, very, very long, never-ending series that will eventually, that will be very similar. We'll beat them and then we'll be like, that's it. What else is there to do, boy? But hopefully, those games will at least have, you know, a little bit of extra juice to them. Something else to do. I can still appreciate the existence of Master System Double Dragon just for being, you know, definitely an alternate take. If you're used to the NES version, this is at least something a little bit different. I wouldn't call it better. Despite being technically superior on most fronts, probably. But it takes more than just technical superiority. Tell that to any wanky prog band. There are a lot of real good prog bands out there, but if you're a prog band who writes boring songs that are just very noodly, I don't care about you. You gotta have the songs to back it up, man. Being like, ooh, I'm a good guitar player, watch me. That's great and all. But you need the foundation. You need to have a reason to be a good guitar player is what I'm getting at. We're absolutely killing it with the jump kicks this time around. For whatever that's worth. Well, geez, he's wandering. Dude, we can jump on top of the barrels? It looked like I jumped on top of the barrels. Oh yeah, look at this, I'm safe. You can't get me. Can he? Ha! We are safe. Oh. Oh, dude! He just straight up can't reach you if you punch him from up here. We found the strats. Behold. So that, and see, this is illustrating a staple of video gaming, especially when you're a kid. You beat your games, but they're the only games you have. What else do? You start messing around. You start finding stuff like this. You get bored. You start saying like, hey, what can I do to bust this game open? You find out you can jump on the barrels and beat this dude with just straight punches. So, one way or another, we've still illustrated something. We've made a point. Anyway, that's it. That's 60 minutes. I'm not playing a second more. Beating it twice in one episode, that's more than good enough for me. So the question is, where do I think this belongs on the list? Well, it's the first game of this month, so it just belongs right here. It's the only game of November 1988 and December that we have played thus far. So there's no place to rank it. It simply is. Anywho, thank you so much for watching. That is Double Dragon on the Master System. Boy, is it ever. We've seen more of that than we'll ever need to see again. We can move on over to our NES list. What do we got next? We got Dr. Chaos, a game I have actually never even heard of. I have never heard of anybody talk about it. I have never seen gameplay footage of it. It is a complete anomaly and a mystery to me. That either means it's going to be a great hidden gem, or it's going to be something terrible that was buried by time. I'm not sure which. Either way, join me tomorrow for Dr. Chaos. We'll find out if it's good, if it's bad. Until then, have a good day.